All right, can you guys see the the mission documents sheet that I sent you guys?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so what we're going to do tonight is basically we're going to go through these documents just to make sure that you guys understand what you're needing to get and to upload. And then we'll talk about maybe like just a couple different little, kind of idiosyncrasies with each of the documents that you need to make sure that you're aware of when you're doing it. Then we'll go through the instructions on now. It's going to get uploaded through SLL. Let's see what else we'll talk about. And then we'll talk about just important dates again that you guys need to go ahead and put on your calendars for the student teaching semester. And then finishing up with talking about the subbing again. And then at the end, you guys can ask me any questions that you have. And you can ask as a group. And then if you guys have individual questions that you prefer to wait and ask me at the end, that's fine too. So we'll go ahead and get started. So the first thing is the documents that are needed. So these 7 items have to be completed by October 15th. That's the deadline for them to be uploaded into SLL. And then as you upload them into SLL, we meaning more than likely my GAs will be the ones going in and approving those. And if there's anything wrong with them, they'll send them back to you with comments. First document is for general medical and TB risk assessment. And let me show you what that looks like. And that email I sent today also had this attached. But this is the medical form. And what you will do is you will either make an appointment with Student Health Services here on campus, or you can take it to your own private physician. You can go to like one of the clinics off campus, just whatever is your preference. I will say that the Student Health Center on campus is free. If you have to pay for other places, or if you have a copay or whatever, I would probably go to the one on campus. So you'll just do a general physical with them, and they will fill out the bottom portion of this form. You'll fill out the top. Starting at the physical is where they will complete. If this is the important part, guys, for the medical form. If the physician marks that you are negative for risk of TB, you don't have to have a TB skin test. You only have to have one if they say you're positive to be at risk for it. So if you're negative, don't get one. Don't pay for one. Don't go through the trouble of getting the stick. Yeah, don't do that. So then once this is completed, you will upload that document into SLL under the general medical and TB risk assessment section. Your next document is your background check. And what's different with this is that in previous semesters, when you had to have background checks with us, you've used verified credentials. So we don't use verified credentials anymore. We use Identigo. That's the background checks that districts use once you get to student teaching, because they consider you, because you're there all day, every day, you're more of an employee, and that's the background check that they use for employees. Now, having said that, if you guys are already an employee of the district you're going to be student teaching in, because you're a sub for that district, if you want to email the district office and get an email from them that says, we do not, you're already an employee, we do not need an additional background check or an additional CAN check, then you would take that email and that would be what you would upload in this spot, and the same for the CAN check. So again, that'll save you some money, but you'll need to email your district about that. Some districts are good with that. Some districts don't make you do it over. It's just left up to the district. So with the background check with Identigo, it's got the link in there where you go to sign up for your background check. And what you will also need, and it was attached to your email, is you will need the service code. for your district. Let me pull that over. Now, they should all be in here, but having said that, there might be an outlier that I haven't had. And if your service code for your district is not on there, then don't worry about it. Just call your district and get them to give you that service code. Now, your background check isn't going to come back potentially in enough time to meet the October 15th deadline. And you're actually not going to get the results yourself. They're going to go directly to the district. So what I want for this section is before October 15th, you need to go in and sign up and pay for your background check. And the service summary form, which is basically your receipt where you signed up for it, that is what you will upload into that section under SLL. But again, if you're already an employee and you were able to get an email from your district that you don't need to do another background check, then you would put that email there. So either service code summary, receipt, or the email. One of those two will go in that section. And I think unless it's changed, the last time I checked, it was 5125. That could have went up a little bit, but the last time I checked, that's what it was. I think like last year. The next is the central registry check for the CAN check, which you guys have done several times now. You'll just go in, do request your CAN check again. This time, you're going to want your results. Not only will they be sent to you, but also put in the email for your board office that they'll be going to so that they will get them as well. Again, if your district, if you sub for them and they're okay with you not getting a new CAN check, slip that email into that spot instead of the results. But I do want the results for the CAN check. And make sure when you're uploading those results into SLL that you are uploading the entire report, because I can't just have the last page or where the results are, because we need to make sure that it's the entirety of your report. So make sure that you upload a PDF of that whole, I think it's like 6-7 pages by the time it's said and done. Next is liability insurance. So for those of you guys that are already members of KEA as an aspiring educator, they provide liability insurance for you guys. So I just need you to upload proof that you're a member of KEA as an aspiring educator. If not, then just follow that link to join as an aspiring educator. It's free to join, and you'll get issued a letter and then also a card, and you just upload that as proof that you're a member, and that will take care of your liability insurance while you're student teaching. The next document is the KET Promoting Positive Behavior Certificate. Show you what that looks like. So if you click on that link, it'll take you to this positive behavior in schools course. This is free. You just have to launch and like download it. And then you buy it, but it's free. So if it's asking you to pay for it, then you've done something wrong, because this is free. And then you'll go through the modules, and then at the end, it will give you a certificate of completion. And that certificate of completion is what you upload into the section to show that you guys have in fact completed that. Next is your PEX hours. So what I want you to do with this is I want you to go into your EPSB account under your hours, your field experience hours, and take a screenshot of your current hours. They should, at a minimum, already be 120 hours, because during 450 and 840, depending on if you guys are undergrads or graduate students, you should be getting 80 hours this semester. So for that course, so you should be at 120. So just upload a screenshot for proof that you have the hours prior to this semester. Now, I think there may be a few of you guys that actually already have all your hours and you're actually not in a clinical this semester. You guys should upload that you have your 200 hours. And that will be sufficient for that for you. And then the very last section of documents that you will upload is, it is required that you guys take your content praxis exams and your PLT. Your IECE, you don't take a PLT, you guys are the only ones, but everybody else, content and PLT exams prior to student teaching. Now, having said that, you don't have to take them by October 15th. You just have to sign up for them by October 15th. So what I want by October 15th in that section is for you to upload your receipts where you're signed up to take them. Like, you guys can wait and take them over winter break. That's fine. But you just have to go ahead and sign up for them by October 15th and upload those receipts. Now, also, if you don't pass it, or maybe you don't pass one of them, that's fine. It's not a requirement that you have to pass prior to student teaching. And it's not a requirement that you have to pass to be able to graduate. It's just that in order to student teach, you have to have taken them. And then in order to graduate, you just, you can still graduate, but we just won't be able to issue that certification after student teaching if you haven't passed them yet. But we're not gonna worry about that right now. So again, just by October 15th, upload that you've registered for your content exams and your PLT for those that it's required. The other thing that I want to really draw your attention to on this sheet is the section under mark your calendars. So obviously the first two, that was the informational sessions. The next one that I put in yellow, that's your student seminar day 1. And if you'll notice, that's actually over winter break. We have to do it that way because you guys start in the classroom with your cooperating teacher as soon as school starts back for the kids. So, or for the teachers rather. So if you guys are starting on January 2nd or 3rd or whatever it is, you guys are starting then. But this is over Zoom. You don't have to come back to campus for this one. But just make a note that on Wednesday, December 10th, 9 to 4:30, I'm going to be sending you guys calendar invites for all of these meetings also. But from 9 to 4:30 on Wednesday, December 10th, we are going to be Zooming that day, and it is a required meeting. So make sure that you make plans and adjust for that. Friday, March 6th is our day 2 seminar, and it is in person. It will be back here on campus over in the Perkins building on the other side of campus. It's from 8 to 4 that day. Again, mandatory. So go ahead and make plans to be here that day on campus. And then the last mandatory meeting that's back here on campus is Thursday, May 7th. So you'll actually end your student teaching on May 6th. And then on May 7th will be the exit seminar / celebration. And as you guys can see, morning group is the elementary and IECE students, and afternoon is the middle grade, secondary, and P12. And then I believe on that following day, the 8th, is when you graduate. So those are kind of like boom, boom, boom. For those of you that are also curious, with that Friday, March 6th date, if you're going to be somebody that has 2 placements, so if you're elementary or middle grades with or let's see, IECE. So those of you that have 2 placements, or maybe your middle grades or elementary and special education, you guys your first placement will be the first day that the teachers report following winter break through Thursday, March 5th. Then you'll come to campus on Friday the 6th for day 2. And then that Monday the 9th is when you report for your second placement. If you guys are like secondary people, or I know Ag does this, a couple of the P12s like Spanish, you guys will just go all the way through with your same placement, but with the exception that on Friday, March 6th, you will come to campus. So you'll just need to make sure that you let your CTs know that. So that's everything on that sheet. I also sent you guys today, and it's on here, a copy of the placement districts, just because I wanted you guys to know where you can go ahead and initiate your background checks with and your CAN checks. If yours is still in yellow, that is because you are either music or family and consumer science, and those departments actually provide me your placements. And so I don't know yet potentially exactly where you're going to be, and I don't want you to start a background check and it be your wrong district. They are supposed to be getting those to me within the next few days. So I'll update these as soon as I have them to update. So just keep checking. But if yours is on here, then that means you are good to go ahead and proceed with your background check and your CAN check. One thing I did mess up on, there's a couple of you guys that are going to be going to model. You guys will still do verified credentials because model is not part of the Identigo system. So for your background check, go through verified credentials just like you did just like you have done in the past. Next thing. Make sure, guys, that with this semester with your 450 and your 840 clinicals, depending on whichever one you're in, please make sure that you guys are logging your hours every week. Or for you elementary people, like please make sure you're logging, as each week that you have clinicals based on your calendars, because I do have to follow you guys very closely and make sure that you are on track to get your 80 hours because you just can't, you're not allowed to start student teaching without the 200 hours. That's a state requirement. It's a law. So it's part of the regulations. So we just really have to make sure that we're following you guys and making sure that you're getting those hours. So I really need to see that, every week or depending on if you're elementary, every couple of weeks that you're getting those hours accumulated. In terms of receiving your placements from me, I won't give you your placement period until all your documents are in SLL. If they are once they're in SLL and if I have your placement, then I will email you. So say you have all your documents in SLL, but you haven't gotten your placement from me, then I promise you that means I don't have your placement yet. So I don't hold them. If your stuff's in SLL, I send you an email with it because I know that you guys want to know as soon as possible. So please don't harass me and saying, do you have my placement yet? Because I promise you I'll send it to you once I have it. But I will say that some districts are notorious. It could very well be the end of October, sometime in November before I get placements. Some are really fast and some I have to harass to get the placement. So, but we will have them, like you guys will have them before you leave for winter break for sure. Again, like I said earlier, if you guys are already employed by your district that's on that you've requested to do your student teaching in, if you're already employed as a sub, reach out to them and see if they're okay with that so you can save money on the background check and the CAN check. And again, just upload that email into those sections. If you aren't employed by the district that you're going to be placed in as a sub and you think you want to, go ahead and start that paperwork with your district because during student teaching, you can sub up to 10 days for your cooperating teacher. And so long as you're emergency sub certified by your district, you'll get paid as a sub those days. So we don't do anything with the emergency sub, like that's not Eastern. So you'll have to work with your district. And usually those applications are on the district websites to get started with that. So I would go ahead and start that process if that's something you think you want to do. There's anything else before I get you guys to ask me questions. So here is, like, you guys are going to have to tell me if this works because this is all new with SLL and I don't get to see it the way you see it. But on that email that I sent you guys today is the directions for accessing the gateway to upload those student teaching forms. So just follow these step-by-step directions. And if it doesn't work, shoot me an email and I will let Wes, our IT manager, know, because it may very well not. We've had a lot of, issues because we're all learning with this new software program. And we will get that corrected for you guys so that you can get that uploaded. And then I think on that email as well, there's further directions on the background checks and a couple of the other items too. So everything you need should be in that email that I sent you guys this morning. Or we'll talk about it during, or we've talked about it tonight, or we'll talk about it tonight. But if you have any questions, you can always just shoot me an email, or we can Zoom, or whatever you need. Let's see. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing, and then we can just go ahead and do questions. So let me go to the chat too. Yeah, so Anthony, I think I answered that. Model Lab, you'll do verified credentials instead of Identigo. Yes. For all of you guys that are on that spreadsheet currently that have it marked down, that was your first preference. That shouldn't be an issue. I've never had an issue getting first preferences for student teachers because you guys get placed first. We place you guys now. We don't place the lower level clinicals until starting toward the end of the semester, and then at the beginning of January. So you guys get first dibs. So you guys get your first choices. Unless, having said that, I will say I'm not going to promise you on you music and or family consumer science people, because I gave them your preferences, but they are the ones that make the placement. I do not. So if you really, really, really strongly need to be where your first choice is, then I recommend for you guys that are in music, reaching out to Dr. Wiggins, Tim Wiggins, and for you guys that are family consumer science, reaching out to Miss Debbie Isaacs, because they're the ones that are going to give me those placements. Yeah, Nick, those will be fine if you've done it already. You just need to get, all I need you to get is just to get verified from the district that they're okay with it, and then just use that email to upload in those spots. Those of you guys that are option 9 are a little bit different. The ones that are paras, you guys are going to stay with your classroom because that's part of your program. And you honestly, you won't have to do, because you're employed, you won't have to do the background check or the medical form, but you'll need to do the other stuff. Let's see. Lakin, you have to have 70 days minimum for student teaching. So that's again a statutory requirement. You guys shouldn't have an issue. You're lucky that you're student teaching in the spring. Fall is very tight turnaround. But spring, typically you guys actually get, like, if there's not bad weather, not thickness and stuff like that, you can sometimes get like 80, 85 days. And that's good. I mean, the more the better. So if you get to 70, it doesn't mean you get to stop. Like, you still have to go the entirety of the semester. You'll just get more days. But having said that, if we have weather or sickness and stuff like that, you all do have some built-in time that, it's not going to make it to where, like, the fall people, sometimes they have to go past graduation even if there's been issues, because you got to get the 70 days in. No, the school does not access the medical form. It's something that we are required to do on behalf for them. And so it's just us saying that we have completed that for them. So you can list whatever you're comfortable listing in terms of your history.
I just went and got the physical with the TB test. It's the exact same form that you have, but it just says like it's Kentucky to Kentucky.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
So I can take a picture of that and send it in to you because I've not turned it in. Perfect. Thank you.
Upload it to FLL.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. let's. Yeah, so Autumn, so like you guys, if you, like, so people that are special ed, you guys will have a general elementary, like a general ed classroom, and then you'll have your LBD classroom for elementary, as one. So general ed elementary and special ed elementary. If you're middle grades, you'll have whatever say your middle grade social studies and LBD. You'll have middle grade social studies and middle grades LBD. Does that make sense? Okay. Yes, even if you got extra hours, like say you have 130 hours, you still have to get 80 because that's the requirement for 450 and 840. Yeah, so you'll just be somebody. If say you had 130, you would just wind up with 210. You know, you don't get to like use the hours previously, unfortunately. Yes, anybody that's got a medical form filled out from your district, you can use it. Let's see. In regards to the praxis, the way it works is if you took the 5,000 series, because the 5,000 series is going away, or it went away, or it's either it's either getting ready to go away, or it's already went away. I haven't looked recently. But if you took the 5,000, this is elementary people. If you took the 5,000 series and you have to take 5205, but if you take the 7,000 series, which is the new one for elementary, you don't have to take 5205. So just keep that in mind. And I talked to EPSB, those of you guys that have already taken the 5,000 series with the 5205, or maybe you've already signed up to take it. That's fine. They'll still accept it. But if you took the 5,000, you have to also have that 5205 as well. But with 7,000, you don't. So with the codes for the praxis, we don't give them out just because they change all the time, and so we don't want to be responsible for giving the wrong code. So really, your best thing to do is when you go into ETS, go to Kentucky requirements and go down to your program concentration, and it will tell you the tests that you need to take. If you still want that verified, then reach out to EPSB and they will verify that for you. We just in the past, this has been several years ago now, but we had some codes change and students took the ones and they wouldn't accept them. And so then we had to pay for them to be retaken. So it's now just become a policy of EKU that we don't give the codes out ourselves.
Miss Blackburn, Lakin texted me. I think she got kicked out of the meeting, so she might be coming back in. I would just keep an eye out for her. I'm not sure if she's logged back in or not.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep my eye on when people pop in, but yeah, let me know if she's not letting me in.
Okay.
Let's see. Autumn, Autumn, are you elementary or are you a middle grades? On the LBD. I'm looking at your question. Because you said you were wondering if you could stay there.
My degree is middle grade math and LBD.
Would you want to stay at the elementary school for LBD?
I would. I really like it there.
Do that. Just send me the school, the name and email of the teacher. I just need to make sure that they have the 3 years that they have. Do you know if they have 3 years of experience?
I believe so. But I can send you his email if you want.
Yeah, just send me the name of the school, the name of the teacher, and their email, and I'll put that on the request when I send it to the district.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So the way it works is I will send emails to the districts with my requests, and so if you guys if you guys on your applications have asked to stay with your cooperating teacher, I'll put that in there as part of my request. Or if there's like a teacher or a school that's reached out wanting to have you, I put that as part of my request. But the districts do, if not, then the districts do make your placement, based on where their needs are. So a lot of times they'll want to put you where they might have an opening. And because that will kind of, can very easily just work yourself into a job. So that's why I work very closely with the districts, on these placements. I recommend in terms of this semester getting your hours that you at a minimum are going once a week for a full day. Elementary, you guys know that you're gonna, because you all have it as a count, like you have certain days you have to go, but you middle grades and secondary people, and P12 people, you guys, I always recommend picking a day that you can go the whole day. And then you just kind of keep up with it. And if you see that you're kind of, that you're a little bit behind, then just pick up a half a day here or there as you can. But my recommendation is to always have like a certain day of the week that you're going. Yeah, Michaela, so you guys, anybody that had 2 placements, so elementary, IECE, middle grades, you guys you'll switch in the middle of the semester. So your last day of your first placement will be March 5th. Day 2 seminar will be Friday, March 6th. And then on Monday, March 9th, you'll go to your second placement.
This is Michaela again. Just in addition to that question, when do we figure out who our secondary placement will be? Is that something that we figure out with our first when you let us know after we submit all of our documents?
Okay. So so you're not elementary ed?
I am. I prefer to stay with my current CT, but with 2 different placements, I know we'll likely be in the same school.
Yeah, so typically what will happen, if those of you guys that will have 2 placements, but requested to stay with the current CT, when I send out my request to the districts, I ask that first placement be that CT. So in all likelihood, so long as the district's okay with that request, you'll start back with that CT as your first placement in the spring. And then your second placement will be, so say for example, Michaela, if you're in with a primary teacher right now, your second placement will be intermediate, or if you guys are staying with your intermediate teacher, you'll go to a primary placement for your second placement.
Okay, so when do we figure out our second placement? So
when I give you guys your placements after your documents are turned in, that will have everything on it. When I send you
okay.
When I send you the email, it'll have your first and second placements, or for those of you that just have one, it'll just have the one. And then it will also have who your assigned EKU clinical educator is and their email.
Awesome. Great. Thank you.
Yeah, guys, if you go on your in your Canvas shells, down under the it's somewhere, if you scroll down, there should be a spot for that Praxis reimbursement from KAET. So you still can get one of your Praxis exams reimbursed. You'll have to pay for it up front, but you'll take your receipt and you'll apply to their application, and then they'll reimburse you for one of them. So see which one's the most expensive and get that one reimbursed. Because I know some are more expensive. Sometimes they're more expensive than others. Nick, that question, Connie, Dr. Hodge asked that today because it says something to that effect on ETS in terms of that 7,000 series, that if you took 5205, but then you were going to take the 7,000 series, you wouldn't have to take 7002. She's put a call into EPSB. So once we know the answer to that, I'll send that to all you elementary people. So hopefully we'll know that in the next day or two. But it was never something they told me when we were at the EPSB meetings earlier in the year. So this is potentially new info to me. So once we know, we'll let you guys know. Yes. Okay. So Amelia, are you talking about for 450 or are you talking about for student teaching? Is the full day a requirement? Okay, 450. No, I mean, it's not a requirement. But just try to go as close to a full day as you can. If you can't go a full day, then you'll need to try to do at least like a couple, like half days, a week to be able to get all those hours in. So for those of you, let's see. Yeah, the ones of you, I will preface this and say, you music people and you family and consumer science people, there has been in the past that you've had to go to two different districts. And the can you'd be able to use for both because you could just send, because you get the results in, so you could just send it to the other district. The background check, a lot of times the districts won't a district won't give you the results to give to another district. So you may very well have to pay for two background checks. If this is going to be financially an issue, that's why I say you need to contact, if you're music, Tim Wiggins. If you're family consumer science, contact Debbie Isaacs and tell them that you just simply cannot afford to do two different districts and you really need your placements to be in the same one. Because that has happened in the past. But for the rest of you guys are in the same district. It's just the music and the family consumer science that this is typically an issue.
Ms. Blackburn, I think Lakin is now in the waiting room.
All right, yep, I'm letting her in.
Thank you.
So on the Lexi, you said you're looking on the Praxis website and it says PLT and elementary ed multiple subjects. So the multiple subjects is technically 4. It's your math, your social studies, your English, and your science. You can take, and so if you take them as the multiple subjects, it's an all day long exam that you just do them back to back to back to back. If you're somebody that can't handle doing them like an all day long, you can break them up into 4 different tests. It's a little bit better value financially to do them all at once, but again, that's left up to you and what works for you. And then the PLT is the 1 exam. So technically, if you were elementary ed, you would technically have 5 exams. All right, more questions? I've reached the end of the chat questions so far.
I do have one more. So when we are in our student teaching, do we document our hours every day on the student licensure just like we do now?
That's one nice thing. You don't document your hours. You're after 450 or 840, whichever one you're in, you're done with KFET's kicks. Like, yeah. So the way it works for student teaching, and we'll talk about this later, and actually we'll show you guys during that day 1 seminar how you're going to do it. But there's going to be a calendar in SLL that you go in, and you just have it completed monthly for me so that I can track your days. So at the end of each month, I see where you're at in terms of your number of days. So you don't put hours, you literally go in and put like 1 for that day or what. So, so let's say the end of January, you'll have like 20 days or whatever it is. But no more KECs, no more KFETs. And, but we'll show you guys the other, and it's way easier. And the day 1 seminar, you'll find what we'll do during the day 1 seminar, just to kind of let you know, kind of like what these seminars are. Day 1 involves the mandatory stuff. Like we'll have ethics training, you'll have confidentiality training, you'll have school safety. Those are like the ones that you have to go into the classroom. And then Angela Baker, my part-time clinical educator and in the office that you guys probably hear from her periodically on stuff. She'll do an overview of all the requirements for student teaching, like all your assessments and observations and stuff like that. And then we'll do like a parent handling conflict session. And then there will also be a session on resume writing and cover letters because that day two, when you come back at the middle of the at student teaching, in the morning, you'll do mock interviews, and you do mock interviews with district people. Like I have superintendents and principals and all those kind of people come in and mock interview you. So just to get you, prepared and get the jitters out for the real thing. And you will bring your resumes that day. And then also in the middle of the day, there's the big recruitment fair, and there's usually about 30 districts there, and you're able to go around and talk to them about their openings and what they offer, because all districts are different on different benefits and things, and kind of get a feel of maybe where you want to work at. And then we also have like an educator panel where they'll talk to you about the job search process. And then we also have breakout sessions. And what's really nice about them is they're kind of like conference style. So ahead of time, I'll send you guys a survey and you'll get to pick the sessions that you want to attend. And they're done by like current teachers. So that's kind of cool. And then the last one, when you come back the day after student teaching, the end, that exit seminar, it's like the fun morning or the fun afternoon, depending on which one you guys are in. You get to invite your parents or family and friends. Like you get to invite like 2 or 3 people. We have breakfast, or for those in the afternoon, we have like snacks. We do awards. You guys come up and thank people, and you tell us if you've already got a job, or maybe you're going to go ahead and go to do your master's program. You get an advice video, like you watch an advice video from just our recent first year teachers that are out here to tell you like what they wish they knew had they known like in advance. I have you guys write advice, postcards to incoming freshmen. So it's just like that one's like a chill, few hours, just like a celebratory thing. So it's a fun day. No stress on that one. But that's kind of how that's what those seminars all involve.
How does studying abroad play into all of this? Like, would your placement stay the same, that kind of a thing?
So they'll stay the same, because I know there's like 8 of you guys that have put in for the study abroad. We don't know exactly yet, but evidently they're looking at actually doing it at the end of student teaching this upcoming spring. So the way it'll work for you guys is your first 12 weeks. So instead of the normal 16 weeks, your first 12 weeks, you'll do your first placement will be 6 weeks. Your second placement will be 6 weeks. And then that last 3 or 4 weeks, you go to Ireland, but you're back a couple days before exit seminar. They're looking right now, and I don't hold me to this because these dates could very well change. But right now they're looking at you guys leaving on April 11th and coming back on the 5th or 6th of May.
Okay. And then also I asked earlier because they had a table set up in Combs. But is this you had to write an essay because they're gonna choose 3 of us, or does everyone that apply
everybody that applies goes? It's just that to be honest, I don't know why, but that's the requirements that they do. But no, you'll get to go.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, the recording will be sent tomorrow. Everybody.
I actually talked to Jennifer about studying abroad earlier today. She said that we will probably be having a meeting at some point within the next week or 2 to talk about going and all the dates and stuff.
Yeah, so typically what we did in the past, today she reached out to Daniel. He's the person, our contact for the program that we work with to set this up. And so she was talking to him about would those dates work. And so normally kind of once we have a tentative dates set, then she'll reach out to you guys and we'll have a Zoom meeting, and we'll talk about all the basics and what to kind of that kind of stuff. So that'll probably be in the next week or 2. So you should get something from Jennifer on that, but I'll be at the meeting too. You don't have to be, Nick, you don't have to be at 200 hours by October 15th for your SLL. Right now you just have to, when you upload your hours, you just have to show that you're already at 120. You just have to be at 200 by the end of the semester. But you can go on any day. Like if you want to go like more days than you're currently going, like if you want to go with what works in your schedule, if you've got extra time, you can go ahead and go. I mean, and you just make sure that that works for your CT and your CE. If you need to take a point, like if there's like an appointments that come up or if you're sick or anything during student teaching, you just let your CT and your CE know. I mean, obviously you guys, I mean, you're gonna get sick, you're gonna need a day off. Or maybe you've got appointments and you've got to get those covered, or or you got, God forbid, you have a death in the family or something, life happens. That's okay. And that's part of what's nice too about you guys being in the spring and you've got some extra days built in. If you've got stuff like that, that's okay, and you don't have to make it up. You just make sure that you let your cooperating teacher and your clinical educator know in advance. If it's stuff if it's something you can let them know of in advance. Obviously, if you're sick, let them know. Like, make sure you have your CT's phone number so you can text them or call them first thing, in the morning if you're not going to be able to make it to school because you're sick.
I potentially might have to miss a week of student teaching. Probably not, but if that were to happen, could I make it up during like my county spring break, subbing in a different county, or can it only be done at our placements?
If you don't mind my asking, what would be the reason that you would need to miss a
Uh,
week?
it would be like a spring break trip on our spring break, like a mission trip.
Is it through Eastern?
Uh, it's through the BCM, so not technically
Yeah.
Eastern, but yeah,
Well, that's what I meant.
yeah.
Yeah, in the past, so long as you have been able, as long as you're fine with your days, because that's an approved campus organization, we've allowed that to be fine, and you don't have to make that up. So long as you're going to still hit your days.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it just has to be. So if you guys go to say you're in like a club or a student organization on campus or something like that, and you have some kind of conference or professional development for that, you can that'd be an approved absence. Like, you wouldn't be able to count your day at school because you're not there, but it's you wouldn't have to make it up. It would be an approved absence. Any other questions? I know you guys are gonna come up with more, and that's okay. And you can just send me emails. It's so new, and you're just and it's a lot to take in, and I totally get it. So feel free. If there's something you think about, after the meeting, you're like, crap, I didn't ask her. Just shoot me an email, and I'll answer it for you. It's there'll be something that you forget, or I had forgotten to tell you, and it'll come up.
Question that I don't know applies to our department, but I was just going to ask anyway. I applied for the teacher recruitment loan and have not received any money for that yet. Do you know when that would be coming through?
Yeah, so I don't the recruitment loan and the scholarship one. I don't get any, we don't see that. So I tell you guys that if you've applied and haven't heard anything, I would reach out to Kia directly on those. The only thing that I'm involved with is, and this is something I guess I mentioned it during the 450 meetings, but I think maybe I didn't catch everybody. So the student teacher stipend, you guys, I do that report during student teaching. So I will send a report to Kia. I have to have it in by March 1st, I think, but I always send it in early. This group, they've already got their checks. But and the deadline wasn't even until October 1st, for me to send it in, but people have already got their checks. But you'll get a $5,000 check mailed to your house, during student teaching. So you'll get it probably in March. mailed. So make sure, what I need you guys to do is make sure that your address on file with Eastern is the right address, because we don't want it sent to the wrong address, because it's going to be a paper check mailed to you. And then also just make sure that you recognize the fact that you are taxed on that money. So you'll get a 1099. So just be aware of that. I don't think they always tell you guys that, and I just want to make sure that you're aware of that. But I don't need you to do anything in terms of getting the stipend. I send the report. I just need you guys to make sure that the address is right.
Follow-up question about student teaching and the stipend. If we're receiving this stipend, are we permitted to work a job during student teaching, or are there rules against that?
Are you talking about like just having a second job? No, there's no rules against that. And if you get the scholarship or that loan forgiveness stipend, or it's not really a stipend, the other two that you can apply for, you still get the stipend too. Like you can double, triple dip, all that stuff.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, I think I added it up at one point that like if somebody started their freshman year taking all the money, that you could get up to maybe like $32,000. Great. Of course, that's also for the incoming freshmen. Like all that stuff wasn't around when you guys started. But of course you guys are way luckier than the people that came before you, because they're really jealous when they hear what you guys get now. So but yeah. But no, I will say though that it is hard to have a second job. I'll just be honest with you that it's not, we don't keep you from it, and you do as you need to do, because obviously you got to do what you got to do money wise. But I will say that, student teaching, that's full-time. It's a full-time job. So just be prepared that if you're also working in the evenings or on the weekends at a second job, that it's going to be tough. So just know that going into it.
I have a question about NTI days.
Yeah, so NTI days count. So what will happen is you'll either be logging on through like Google Classroom or Classroom Dojo or whatever they're using, or the groups that have packets, you're just available for emails, like that kind of stuff. But NTI days count.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Amelia, you're very right. They do take forever. So you just have to keep emailing Kia about it. Let me put this in here. This is a good email if you all want to ask about Kia about any of those other two scholarships.
I've never tried emailing them, but their phone calls, whenever me or my friends called them, they usually fix the problem the same day.
Okay, cool. Well, there's an email. I just put it in the chat that you can try to. Another good person at Kia, that's my person that's always really good, if you get to talk to Aaliyah Bussell. She's really very prompt on things. That's her name. If you call, maybe if you get a hold of her, she's a good one there that I've seen to get my questions answered with the stipend anyway. But it looks like, yeah, Morgan said Jennifer Toth or Toth is a good one too. All right, any other questions? All right, well, if not, that's all I got. And like I said, I'll send you guys a recording tomorrow, so you'll have this, and then anybody that didn't get to come will have it. Once you get started on trying to upload those documents, if you run into any issues with SLL, shoot me an email so I can let Wes know so he can fix it, because I'm sure if you're having a problem, everybody's gonna have a problem. And I wouldn't be surprised if there won't be some kind of problem, just because it's this new program. I mean, we're all learning. So, but yeah. And then if you have any other questions in general, just shoot me an email and I will answer those for you. But otherwise, thanks for coming tonight, and you should be excited. You're in the home stretch. So yeah, it's an exciting time. It's hard to believe you'll be, this time next year, you'll be in your own classrooms teaching as a certified teacher. Isn't that crazy? So yeah, but anyway, thanks guys. We'll talk to you later.
Hey, Brandy.
Yeah.
I was wondering if I could ask you a quick private question once people are off and the recording was over.
Yeah, I can do that.
Thank you.